Hello once more, and now we have had the first England match of the 2018 World Cup. Once more, I've got Lucy and Stuart to talk about the football. We have just sort of 5-10 minutes ago seen England get one of those late goals that this World Cup has been so plentiful in dishing out, and I think it settled a few people's nerves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm recalling all of the England first group games of the past, and I remember Euro something something when we were 1-0 up against France, and then Zidane scored a free kick and Zidane scored a penalty. And I remember I was at university and I could not get my dad on the phone because he was fuming so hard that night. This is the opposite. I mean, I was fuming on Twitter. I was verbally sparring with Arsenal bloggers, and then all of a sudden this. And hey, Raw, we're still there. We're 3 points better than Germany.
Yeah, preach. I'm just so. Literally, I'm still almost hyperventilating after shock from that.
Lucy, you went on an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, I did. And the problem is, I live with people who aren't necessarily born in England, so they're kind of just like, it'd be nice if they won, but it's not the be all or end all. And I'm there having this legitimate breakdown. Like, oh God's sake, I left the room for 10 minutes. I couldn't watch it. I was like, what is happening? I was trying not to be the stereotypical England, we're going to win the World Cup, the referee's an idiot type person. I tried. I went on a bit of a Twitter rant, but I did attempt to not do it. So
you tried. Well done.
And I tried restraint, but I also failed.
Yeah, I think it was the period of time, this sort of the sheer amount of the match where England looked like they'd been encompassed by the fear, that they'd gone into that sort of toxic self-doubt spiral.
Oh yeah, like I think they were kind of in the first 10 minutes they were so brave, and look what happened, we scored. And I think that's genuinely England's biggest downfall. I get really wound up because they pass back a lot when they don't have confidence. And there was just so many things where they should have scored and they just didn't. I was like, what is going on? Yeah, I think I'm too emotional to discuss it rationally.
And are we going to be?
I mean, but actually, not discussing it rationally is almost how we should discuss England. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, Lucy, if you were even around for Euro '96. Were you?
I was 5.
But Euro '96 was not a tournament you could take in rationally. And I just remember moments like the Holland match, and they came out of nowhere because our players had nowhere near that kind of quality to do that. So, if they can pull a diamond out of the turd that was tonight's match, then who knows what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, also watching Belgium earlier on in the day, their first half was abysmal, but their second half was great. Like, they were brilliant, and I'm just thinking, oh Lord, we've got that in a week and a bit.
Oh God!
Oh, yeah.
And can we talk for a minute about Belgium being New England and how embarrassing it was to look at Jan Vertonghen's face as he passed it square to Alderweireld again in a beautiful arcing pass that then went back to him 5 seconds later. But Bobby Martinez is a failed manager, and I don't understand how he's got a chance at Belgium because they're not picking the right team there.
What for the newbies is the deal with Belgium? Because it's not what people think of as like a traditional footballing nation. Why all the big noise about Belgium?
I'm just gonna. Oh, I'm really sorry. I basically.
Go ahead.
I think the reason why I really love Belgium. Belgium are usually my second team, but they're not in this World Cup because A, one of my best mates is from there. B, they're in the same group as us, so it's difficult. But they're usually my second team because so many of their players play in the English Premier League. So huge names: Eden Hazard, I can't say his name, but Lukaku. Oh God, my mind's got blank now. But there's about 8 of the 11 that were on pitch today play in the English Premier League, And that's a hard league to play in. That is a difficult league, and maybe I'm just saying from a biased point of view because I'm English. But I think that's why English people have such an affinity with Belgium, because we know them all. Kevin De Bruyne, there you go, massive name. And yeah, I think that's why a lot of people in England particularly have a huge love for Belgium.
I didn't realise there was another Hazard.
Neither did I until earlier on today.
Well, I think as England showed tonight, there are Hazards everywhere.
You apologise for that.
I tell you what, I don't come alive very often, but tonight's one of those nights.
Hey!
There's a Garden of Eden pun in there as well somewhere.
Yeah, actually, Eden Hazard is the only footballer who is a synonym for an apple.
Watch Chris Martin's daughter grow up to be one of the lionesses. Apple Martin.
You are.
But no, I mean, but Belgium have this golden generation, so it's a bit like England 2006. You know, they sort of grew all these footballers through a good youth policy 20 years ago, and it's probably the last chance for this team as we know it. I mean, they've got good players from front to back. They're playing regular Premier League football. They're just a really great squad, and for some reason, the Belgian FA keeps making wacky management choices. This time, it's Roberto Martinez, the failed former Everton manager and only man to win the FA Cup while getting a team relegated. So, you know, there's no accounting for taste, really, is there?
An achievement's an achievement. So, hey, we've not actually all spoken since before the events of yesterday.
Oh yes, I can't even remember the games yesterday.
Let's put Belgium to one side for a moment. We had the dubious spectacle of Costa Rica versus Serbia, which that's the one you can't remember from yesterday.
Yeah. And I was surprised to see Serbia winning it. Maybe it's just my head thinking Costa Rica won the group last time. I was quite surprised.
I think Costa Rica were surprised when they won the group last time.
Yeah, they're not Brazil, but I don't know. I think in my head, I had it in my head that Costa Rica would win it because hey, they could win a group at the World Cup.
At the moment,
oh wait.
At the moment, Brazil aren't Brazil.
No, true.
But that's for later. Shall we have a good dig into the Germany-Mexico game, or is there more to say?
Oh, please let's.
Oh, go on. Right.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, I said earlier on in a previous pod that Germany aren't Germany anymore because they're not hyper efficient and they're quite exciting to watch. Well, you know, the Chinese say, "May you have exciting times." It looks like they've got that now, doesn't it? Is the fairy tale over for Germany?
It was very exciting, but not in a way that I think anybody supporting Germany would appreciate.
I was kind of barbecuing at the time, in out trying to watch it, but it looked really good. And there's a statistic. The BBC covered it yesterday. So France, after their World Cup win, got knocked out of the group stages. Italy, after theirs in 2006, got knocked out of the group stages in 2010. And Spain, after their 2010 World Cup win, got knocked out of the group stages in 2014. Is Germany the next one?
I mean, I think it's very difficult to come up with new thinking after you've won a World Cup. It's a bit like defending a Eurovision that you've won. I mean, you know, when you're hosting it, there's not really the impetus to host it twice. I know. I think Ireland did, didn't they? But it's never been done apart from that. I think it's almost the same thing. I mean, I think there's no impetus to change anything, and maybe those ideas from 2014 are. Well, maybe everyone else has evolved and got a bit better. I mean, look at Brazil. They drew against Switzerland, but there's still enough quality to go ahead and win there. I'm not sure Germany will beat them 7-1 this time.
The Germany squad contains a lot of the same names from 2014. I haven't crunched any numbers and worked out what percentage of, you know, unchanged names there are, but I certainly recognise more names on the German team than in the England squad.
I suppose the German team, they play all over Europe. Like, You've got people playing in the Bundesliga. You've got people playing in the Premier League. You've got people playing in France. You've got people playing all over the continent. Whereas England, they're pretty much all playing for Spurs. They're all playing in the English Premier League. Every single player is playing in England, and I guess that means we don't have as much worldwide appeal. Perhaps I really don't know because obviously I'm in England. I don't know what other people in other countries think.
I think in the United Kingdom we ought to teach a second language from age 4.
Sorry?
We don't teach languages young enough.
No, absolutely not. It's crazy. I started learning languages in year 8, so when I was like 13 was when I was started to be taught another language. It's ridiculous. So people don't teach, like you say, definitely don't teach languages early enough.
Yeah, and in a way that might have prevented Brexit as well.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, right, okay.
Bring up the heavyweights.
Wait. Before the mood dips too much, Germany got beat by Mexico.
Yeah, and I mean, I hadn't heard of Irving Lozano before the tournament preview, but I heard he was going to be big news. I didn't think he'd be quite this big news. I think the Mexico team in general, because they play in either smaller European clubs or they have played in big clubs and they're not anymore, like Chicharito. Anyway, there's a little bit of that old World Cup feeling of we don't quite know the team, and I think maybe other teams feel that way about them. So that slight uncertainty over who to mark, who to close down, etc. I think that might have played into Mexico's favour a little bit in terms of Germany didn't know who to go up against because they weren't up against them in the Champions League or anything.
Well, it's interesting, kind of what happened with Mexico because, like you say, you didn't know the players. I don't know many of the players in Mexico at all, but God, they outshone, didn't they? They were so good. Like, it's just, like I say, I was very in and out of the match. I didn't watch it in full. I was only thinking, what's the score? Is it still 1-0? Is it still 1-0? Just shout it in because it was very busy. But it seemed immense. Like, literally the German players' reactions, like, hand on head, as if they'd just lost the semi-final, like they weren't going to the final. That was the reaction they had, wasn't it? Like, it was so genuinely soul-destroying to them, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think maybe it was a bigger game than they thought it was. I think there was maybe the genuine feeling that if they played the way they normally do, they'll win this. And they were surprised when someone turned up. And, I mean, okay, the defending champions are always going to be the big scalps for another group team, aren't they?
Yes, so often you see matches where there is a bit of a skill or a just sort of a well-knownness imbalance won by the team that is just more up for it, and Mexico were more up for it.
I suppose it's that cockiness you get when you expect to win a match. Like, after England scored, I think they did it. I think England are fabulous at getting cocky too soon. I think Germany, perhaps it was that. They just kind of assumed they'd win. And once Mexico netted one, perhaps they just assumed they'd score without actually doing the work to do so.
Do you think that football is one of the places where people learn about hubris?
Who does he play for?
But the psychological component is clearly as important for these high pressure games as actually, being able to do a particular skill.
Yeah, and I hate to mention performance anxiety, but I think it affects football teams as well as people. And I think it's a little bit like stepping up on stage at Eurovision and knowing what you're capable of and then singing out of tune,
Molly, split now.
Oh. Well, Gemini. But and this is where the crowd come in. The crowd can do for you what the Eurovision crowd and the ESC Extra live stream chat did for Blanche, and just sort of coax them into believing in themselves. And it's weird how when you believe in yourself, the decisions go your way. You're smiling a bit more. You're standing taller. You fall over less. The pass comes off.
Yeah, I suppose as well, like, in all situations, like if you're going into an exam or whatever, if you think I can do this, then you're not going to have a panic attack in the middle of the exam. It's I suppose there's that element in all of life in a way.
And I mean, this applies as much to Brazil as it does to Germany and to England as well. There is that thought of, what will they say if I fail?
Yeah, I mean, the English press is savage. We saw what happened. So, for people not in the UK that are listening to this, Raheem Sterling got a tattoo of a gun. So, Raheem Sterling, our striker, got a tattoo of a gun tattooed on his right leg because his father was gunned down when he was very young. His father died. And so he says, now I choose to shoot with my foot instead of a gun. And the British media absolutely destroyed him. Like, it's disgusting, actually, the way they were speaking about him. And so imagine, like, what they're going to say if we go out the group stages again. Like, sorry, I keep focusing on an England angle, but it's what
And actually, one of the many mad tweets I wrote before Kane's winner said, I wonder if Sterling wishes he'd chosen his other option of playing for Jamaica, given that they probably would have qualified with him in the team. It would have been a fun time. He could have worn a nice yellow shirt during the World Cup, and both his parents, I think, are from Jamaica, and probably the Jamaican press wouldn't have given him as much nonsense as the English press has.
I don't think there's going to be a significant change, though. I mean, it's the same press cycle as Eurovision. It's, oh, we're terrible. Oh, everybody hates us. Oh, we're useless. But we deserve to come in and win this. And we shouldn't even have to try very hard, because winning it is our birthright. And that attitude is weird.
And the thing is, how come other, I'm going to say former imperial nations like France don't have the same fear of winning or losing? I mean, when France go into Eurovision, when France go into football tournaments, you don't get any of this, oh, we haven't won in a while, what do we do about this? Are we going to fail thing? I mean, France has been fairly uniformly rubbish in Eurovision, and when it's sent someone good, it's not got the votes, like Sebastian Tellier, and they don't seem to worry about it.
Sebastian Tellier is the most underrated French entry. I'm so glad you said that
one. Fantastic.
I liked it.
It was divine. But yes, it is a very peculiar English attitude. I guess it is an imperial attitude, and I don't know how you successfully de-imperialize a country.
Well, I mean, France still says it's an empire, and France hasn't won anything since that golden team in Euro 2000. But yet they don't seem to worry about it, or maybe that's because I don't read the French press, but I don't get the impression that the team's constantly being picked on. I just wonder why France can be more adult about it than we can.
Yeah, I mean, with our media, it's not even like hidden at all. Like when Stuart went on this morning, and Philip Schofield, the first thing he said to her in the interview was, "So your odds are 50 to 1." I was watching it like, really? Like, that's your opening line? Like, oh, your odds are rubbish, have some of that. And it's literally, they just go straight in with it. They don't hold back. And again, like you say, the French don't seem to have that. The French, it seems a lot more positive and, right, well, we did bad, let's fix it, rather than we did bad, let's keep doing the same thing over and over again. Which with the England team, I think I know today's match is uncomfortable to watch or whatever, we won, but it was still a bit tense. But at least with that, I really do have faith in Gareth Southgate that even if we don't do well in this World Cup, we've got young players in, they're getting experience. The next World Cup is where we might be able to do something good. But like, I'm trying to find the words for it, but I still think no matter what, the British press just love to whinge, and it's like with British people, we love to whinge about weather, don't we? We do. Even if it's sunny, it's too hot. If it's cold, too cold. We just can't help ourselves. And I don't know if maybe it's that British attitude, but it just sucks because people just buy into it really quickly as well.
We need to find and embrace some kind of joie de vivre.
We need to find an English phrase that means joie de vivre.
What's the literal translation? I don't speak French.
Joy of living.
Oh, there we go.
Well, I mean, all of the Scandinavian untranslatable concepts have had their turn in the limelight. Maybe it's time for the Yorkshire concept of, oh, that's right good, to make a comeback.
I mean, it is part of the problem with England, and this is just me thinking on the hoof. You know, I watched Iceland, and what I saw was a team playing like an 80s English league team. They were banging the ball long, and they were going for the corners, and you know, they weren't playing in a pretty way, but they had their big, powerful, stocky men in, and they were playing tactically. I wonder, given that that's the football that we are reared on, why are we trying to play like the Spanish? Why don't we actually play long ball with big men for a while and just see if it works?
And that's Stuart endorsing long ball with big men.
But with England, I do think something's changing. With all these young players, we've got the youngest squad at the World Cup. I feel bad because all we do is talk about England, but we do have like the youngest squad, I think, at the World Cup, and I think we're just trying to shape and mould them as they go. I think when you look at France and Belgium's a better example actually. A lot more experience at good levels. They're like they played in the FA Cup finals and they played at World Cups before. Pretty much that a lot of that team have been at the last World Cup and they got to the quarter final. And you can see that in today's game. The Belgian attitude to it is such a family thing. They are like, I can't remember what the hashtag, I think it's like Reds Together or something, but their whole culture behind their football is they are best friends. They are a family, that football team is. That's their whole thing. They commiserate together, celebrate together. That's what England are missing. I think it's on change because you look at Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford, and they've got such a bromance. It's adorable.
What England could come up with is they're like a youth club. It's Biker Grove. But without unfortunate paintball accidents. They go, they hang out together, they have a kickabout, they play some ping pong, they try and decide who's best at FIFA, and yeah.
They have to be best at FIFA, but the actual game.
So are you saying maybe that we need to invite FIFA YouTuber KSI to join the England team? I mean, it might boost the atmosphere at least. But
what I'm saying is that we're short of one that you can call Spuggy.
Right.
Oh, what? Right. Spuggy?
Oh, that's a character from Biker Grove in the 90s.
I was born in 1991. I don't know it too well.
Oh, right. Well, the thing you need to know about Biker Grove is that obviously it was the debut for Ant and Dec, but that was back when they were called PJ and Duncan.
It's their origin story.
And Duncan gave PJ. Duncan took PJ's eyesight away in a paintballing accident. That's the main thing that they've dealt with for their entire career since then.
And it's that kind of vibe of brotherhood and long-lasting friendship that we need to have for those poor boys who are going to get pilloried by the press, whatever happens to them.
Yeah, even if it's drink driving or rehab, yes. But coming back to Belgium, though, it's ironic, Lucy, that you said that they've got a family atmosphere because Belgium's always been the country that's been split down the middle between Dutch and French speakers and everybody else, and they've always been the country least like a family, except for maybe Baltic states like mine.
Yes, very true. Yeah, no, I know they've kind of got their difference, but the whole brand is what I mean. Like the brand of their football team is that they are a family. It certainly used to be. I remember at the 2014 World Cup, like there was like a massive section about it before a Belgium game. They literally instill it to them. They spend so much time together in off season that, like, literally they kind of almost live together practically. It's this whole culture of their brand that they make it like the fans are part of that family and everything.
What was the one that Wales had in the last Euros? Was that as one, or is that Scotland? Anyway,
Sure.
Wales had a similar thing going on in the Euros, and they had the Manics write them a song to go in with that theme as well and everything. And I guess that sense that everybody's helping to, I was going to say bail out the boat, but maybe that's too negative a metaphor. Everybody's helping to build the barn rather than people are sort of standing, sniping on the sidelines while the barn is being built.
Yeah, and actually, you mentioned the Manics. I mean, surely when we think of the Manics, we think of a band that shouldn't be any good because they're in their third decade, but actually they're producing some of their finest stuff right now. And then I look at Sweden this afternoon, and I think, okay, everyone expects them to be rubbish, but there they are. You know, they're grinding something out. They're looking okay.
Right, Sweden did not play that well. South Korea just played a bit worse. Literally, right, two of my best friends live in Gothenburg, and they were just messaging me like, what am I watching? They were so angry when watching a match. It was like, it's okay, you're winning. I don't see South Korea putting a goal in unless there's another VAR penalty. Right, just stay calm, I'm sure you'll make it. They were like, it's not even that, I'm just annoyed watching it because it's so bad. And I was like, look, you're ahead of Germany in your group. Just enjoy it whilst it lasts.
I think it's a failure of Sweden's youth system. Not only that they've got so many old players in that team, but also that they failed to get an Ingrosso into the team.
Yes.
There should be an Ingrosso in every aspect of Swedish culture.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, shall we just quickly run through tomorrow's games, because we're all the way round now. We've got the last 4 countries to play. Tomorrow we've got Colombia, Japan.
That'd be interesting. I think, who do we think's going to win?
I would go with Colombia, but that's only because I know more of the players. Because again, Premier League bias. We'll just have to see.
If it wasn't topsy-turvy tournament time, you would say Colombia, but anything could happen.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 2 different styles. Colombia are incredibly physical, and I think Japan like a neat passing game.
Then we follow that up with Poland versus Senegal.
That's going to be an amazing game because I think they've both got some good players. I'm really excited to watch that one.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to roll out my Scouse accent and say Sadio Mane again. It'll be great to see Lewandowski, but I would look out for Arkadiusz Milik. He's been playing well for Napoli the last season, and I think Lewandowski's got decent backup this time. It could be a good game for Poland.
I think Poland are going to win it. Like, if I don't bet, because if I go to make a specific one-off bet, I'm terrible at it and it will lose. Every year I put 2 horses in the Grand National, they both fall without fail every year. So I don't put bets on it. If I were, I'd put Poland 2-0. No, 2-1. 2-1.
The thing is, the Polish are naturally defeatist people. They love a bit of Slav fatalism over there, and I think they just can't believe their luck with this team right now. It's too good. They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow night's headline act. Russia versus Egypt.
Woohoo!
Come on, Egypt. Come on. They need to put Salah on. If they don't put Salah on, I'll be more angry than I was after that dodgy penalty shout in the England game. I'll literally be like, where is Mohammed? We need him.
Yeah, but the Salah, I mean, with still a slightly broken shoulder up against the Russian defence, well, you're going to feel more vulnerable than a journalist in Russia, aren't you?
Yeah.
So should we basically be saving Mo Salah for Sunday best?
Well, not if they're going to lose games, because Uruguay's a different kettle of fish. In my opinion, my stereotype when I think of Uruguay is, unfortunately, Luis Suarez biting. That doesn't happen anymore, but it comes to mind. And rough play.
He only bit the one
not
guy.
Play nice. Sorry?
He only bit the one guy, but that's enough to get you marked down as a biter.
No, in the Premier League, he did
three
quite
guys.
a bit.
Okay, right, okay.
He did
then
it in
becomes a
play for
habit.
Liverpool too. But, like, the roughness is what comes to mind. And it's sad, I think. I also do think 4 World Cup wins, but it's, I don't know. If Uruguay I've come to terms, like, I understand why they left him out. But with this next match, I know it's Russia, but there'll be a lot of people watching, and you're not going to get away with, well, I say you're not going to get away with, who even knows. But I think they need to bring out the star name, because the Egyptian fans, they've all gone there to see Salah, haven't they?
Yeah. And remember, even though Russia scored 5 last week, they are still bad.
Oh, yeah. Last week... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you go, honestly.
No, I was just reflecting on star names, and Russia's holding something back, of course, and I think that the thing I'm surprised by, given the number of memes I look at on the internet, is why they haven't given Putin a minute yet.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Coming up, that'll be a Putin.
If this was hosted by North Korea, they'd give Kim Jong-un a minute on the field just to see him score a hat trick, wouldn't they?
Yes. They'd pay enough for the seat side to just walk away. No, that's funny. No, I really, really want to see Egypt bring it, because they can, and I genuinely was certain that Uruguay and Egypt were going through in this group, and then Egypt lost, and it sucked how they lost. I was gutted when Uruguay got that last minute one in. Playing Russia is very different to Uruguay. Uruguay has got that much more history and talent. I'd like to think they're going to smash it. I'd like to think.
All right, okay, that's where we'll leave it for tonight then, in sort of English relief and expectation of Egypt.
Yes.
Egyptian expectations. All right. Night, Lucy. Night, Stuart.
Bonsoir.
Bye. This has been Ellie on the Listen Outside World Cup podcast.